is joining me, James and Oris. Welcome.
Sorry, James.
Yeah, it's alright. Zubi. There's a
It's bigger
tradition
than
here.
I.
There's a tradition here.
You-
You're going to
Really?
have to introduce
Yes,
me again.
exactly.
Yes.
Yes,
So
Okay.
James Salas.
You're supposed to just call his name,
And just stop.
Okay.
and then
Yes.
he would respond.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
In the
Tradition.
noisiest,
Tradition, yes.
noisiest way possible.
If not, the listeners will be disappointed.
Oh wow, and we definitely do not want that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's nice to meet you both. It's our first official meeting. Okay,
Zubi, you have to
So-
do it again.
Just say James
You have to
Silas. Just
introduce
say
James Salas again.
Just say James Silas.
okay. I hope I get paid. I get paid extra for this.
Yes.
James Silas.
Yeah! Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, everybody. Yes. I'm in.
There you go.
Okay. Well, you can also be a part of the conversation. 0809 981. That is the WhatsApp number. And of course, we are on Twitter at Smooth981. So let's start things off with Tems, another big win at the BET Hip Hop Awards. Now, the international sensation won the award for Best Collaboration at the BET Hip Hop Awards, which actually held just a few days ago, 4th of October to be precise. And that means she's just increasing that stash of awards that she is racking up. Now, this collaboration was a win for her. She was featured alongside Future, and Drake on Wait For You.
Indeed.
Absolutely. I mean, it's also, I'm not surprised. I don't know about you always, but, you know, since
I'm surprised. I'm very
the
surprised.
since the past
It's like
one-
about 2
years or
years
so.
now. Actually,
Yes,
you're,
it's been-
you're kind of in term season.
Season,
It
yes.
looks like actually.
So we're actually not surprised, and
Yeah.
she has the talent and the music to back it up.
Yeah, but I was like this. It just shows you kind of the importance of this cross-country collaborations, I believe. Of course, because I doubt it if they would have given a non-American a straight-up award for something like this for
Mhm.
in a major category, But you're on a song with people as big as Future and Drake, it kind of helps your chances. So yeah, congratulations to the lady.
Now, I remember it might have been early this year when Future had tweeted that he was listening to Thames and he was blown away, and a lot of Nigerians just flooded his timeline saying, "Stay away from Thames" and things like that. I mean, he's a serial daddy.
Well, thankfully, nothing. Well, we don't know, but it looks as though like nothing has happened in that regard. So it's probably just musical, and so let's
Right.
be
Of course.
let's be happy. Let's be happy.
Okay, good one, Thames. Let's talk about something brewing, and this is more homegrown. Now, Sobericon is demanding an apology and 500 million naira. Say it again, 500 million naira in damages from Harry Songs for defamation. Now, the music promoter, socialite, businessman, has demanded an apology.
Noisemaker. Sorry.
Ooh, that's something else to add to the resume.
Always.
So he's demanding an apology and 500 million naira. And he says this is because Harry Song, who was some sort of musical collaborator, I believe, at one point, over some statements that he made. Now, Harry Song had appeared on a podcast and he kind of made some claims about Sobericon trying to put off his lights in Port Harcourt. Really? So, I mean, when friends fall apart or when business partners fall apart.
Yeah, I think.
We didn't have friends, James.
So they were actually friends, or more or less business.
Yeah, it looks like they had some business.
They had
going
they were in the same circle, which is that 5-star,
Music
KC
circle,
circle. So used to also be a producer. I don't know if they worked together as a producer, but at least, but one thing is for sure that they were in the same circle at a point. And I, when I saw that the clip where he was talking about, the allegation saying that tried to, like you said, put off his lights in Port Harcourt.
Very great friend.
I was quite, there are some allegations that you make that, everybody will be like, oh, are you serious? And then he kept, he kept at it. He was insistent that he took, I think, Chief King Tomateke, so one of those.
Yes, one of those.
Hi, Chief.
Yes, to intervene. So allegations like that are very, very heavy. You can't say somebody tried to kill you if there are no proofs. And then the guy said he had proofs, he had videos and all of that. On the side of Soso, I'm not surprised that Soso has to come out to, because when there's a, I don't, so why is Soso working free if there was this kind of situation? Do you understand what I'm saying?
It's not
He should have
Nigeria,
got,
that's why it's working.
well, so let's see how it plays out. Now he has, I don't know if he has sued, or if this is official or just
Yeah,
social media.
That was a document.
I saw a document actually.
Good,
Yes, where
so-
it looked like he actually had sued. But
Fine.
I don't think it's the first time we are seeing documents and nothing
Happened, right?
happens after that. So maybe, but yeah, but I think it's an interesting. Well, I don't know what it is. Yeah, but let's go with interesting. It's an interesting idea that two people who were once in the same circle have this, and it's not just this is not a normal fallout. This is a big thing to have somebody say about you in public. But a part of me is also thinking, wait, is this thing, could it be true? Because
I mean,
if it is, then that's because I mean the question they asked him was what seems to me to be a harmless question
exactly, and then he
about
went,
friends in the industry, and then suddenly
oh, guns
bam,
and blazing.
he's talking about somebody
Pow,
trying to
pow.
exactly trying to put off his lights.
I
You know,
mean,
just
he called out
wow.
what's Skibby as well, saying Skibby,
But
was-
at least they didn't say that Skip is after his life. You know, there's a big difference between
Well-
those two things. On the one hand, you say, you know what, these people are not my friends,
Mm.
and it's enough to say that. But somehow to add that this person tried to kill me like a while ago,
That's a serious allegation.
that's crazy. So I understand Soso's displeasure or annoyance or something, you know. But like I said, the part of me also is also thinking, will somebody say this about you if it wasn't a little bit true in public?
Mm.
no,
Which-
come on.
Really,
To the public.
James, think about it.
You know how many times you try to
Are you saying James has threatened you?
oh,
Or it's okay.
you saw what he just did to Mr. Cena. I mean, that's-
Mr. C deserved what he got, please. But I don't. But this one, you know, even at that, you know, just consider the amount of bile I have for Mr. C when he attacks me over Arsenal and Manchester United, and still I don't send anybody to go at him, and I would never say that in public, you know. So to have a song say, I think, who knows, huh? Who
it's
knows?
a big allegation, and
It's really, really
we
big.
would like to see the end of it.
Speaking of the end of it, though, did you see Harry Song's response on social media?
I thought he was trying
That's
to
what I'm
make
saying.
it. He was trying to play lights, right? Wasn't that what he was doing?
It
So-
was weird.
He just put out an album, I think.
Yeah, is that not like
Mm.
a while ago?
Well, if
Maybe
the
like 2
album has
months
not
or
picked,
3 months
if
ago.
it has not picked up,
And it hasn't. True.
sometimes
Wow.
you might want to look for other ways
But
to get attention.
Controversy
this
sells.
way, I don't know.
But
This
this
is
is
like
heavy.
this is kind of like what the equivalent of that thing they said about Tiwa Savage back in the day, by the way. I don't know if it works for her. Everybody
Okay.
knows exactly.
Oh, that one. All right, moving on.
Moving on swiftly. Okay, so Techno embarks on a 30-day non-smoking challenge in an effort to quit his addiction. Now, the singer and producer Techno has revealed that he's starting this 30-day challenge because, well, he wants to live longer and he wants to spend time with his family. I'm just saying, but he definitely wants to quit smoking. Now, he said this via his Instagram account, and he said he successfully completed the first 30 days.
No, we said it was 24 hours.
Well, it does seem like he said he successfully completed the first 30 days, and he revealed that it was tough. Okay, well, did you see this on Instagram?
Yeah, I saw the video where he was talking about it. And I thought he said he had just succeeded in doing it for the first 24 hours.
24 hours.
Oh,
And the next
okay.
24 hours was about to embark on it. And
Yes.
he felt like he was feeling better than he did
Right.
after the first time. So I guess I don't know. I have no such addictions. Addictions are more
Happy for you.
literary. Anyway, so I hear that it gets easier, but even if it gets easier, it's not a walk in the park apparently.
No, it is not.
To kick something of this.
Or it's an
nature.
addiction.
Mm.
I mean, Kiss Daniel publicly
Had that
had the
hack of
same
thing,
situation, but we still saw not so long
Oh, I haven't
after.
seen- oh, really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it was after his whole what's that country that he went to? that
Tanzania?
had access. And I said, man, it's not. So he went back to his making noise. So I really, I mean, for
So
anybody
difficult,
who was
man.
an addiction, sometimes it might not be smoking, it might be drinking, it might be any other thing.
Could even be chewing your nails.
Exactly, that you just want to let go of.
Chewing
I mean,
nails. I don't. Why is that so specific?
Yeah, because he's one of them.
Oh, really? You're
No,
my
I'm
soul
not.
brother. Oh, you
No,
don't?
I'm not.
Okay. I'm guilty as charged. And I was thinking to myself
Not even
yesterday.
close. Well, exactly, because like that's such a specific thing to say.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, this is an addiction. Like, I'm chewing my nails so much. I've been chewing it all my life. And I was wondering, some addictions
What
maybe
kind
are
of
more
addictions are
severe
interesting?
than
I feel like
others.
compulsive. Okay, maybe compulsive actions. But yeah, addictions. I don't know.
Because it's still the same thing. I mean, something you do like you probably cannot or are not
But do
trying
you
to
want to stop
get
though?
control of.
I think I do. I mean, I can go for I've gone for maybe a day or two, and then
Like techno.
And then you look at your
like
nails like
Techno.
you're
It's
You're
looking
like,
so
looking
delicious.
nice. Exactly.
buggers. So nice.
Let's eat
Great,
away.
great.
Okay, I'll just take out the little finger after that one was stopped.
I've always
Wait, how
wondered
do you
though.
know that feeling? Are you sure you don't have something
James,
that you're telling
tell
us
us.
about?
Hmm?
You describe the feeling so well when you want to start with one finger. James, can I see your fingers?
I just showed my fingernails are short.
Oh,
So I'm not saying
you
bite my
recognize,
nails. I don't
real
bite my nails, but
recognize.
I mean,
Okay,
Hmm.
moving on.
I've always just felt like it's such a strange thing to do, the biting nails bit, because I have a cousin who used to do it back in the day, and his fingernails were concave. So it's like, why? I mean, like,
the
well,
guy
I
is a
don't know.
pro.
I just can't
Oh,
understand
wow.
it.
When people actually chew to the point where they start to bleed, that's actually an illness.
Oh, people do that.
Yeah, it's called compulsive Leschnaien syndrome.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so people chew and then they hurt themselves and they can't stop, but they keep chewing. Thank God.
Well,
you
thank
know.
God you haven't got in.
Amen.
Are you
I praise
serious?
the Lord for your life. Wow.
Thank you, Oris.
Scary.
Well, let us know what your thoughts are. You can be a part of our conversation. 0809 444 981. And we're hoping and wishing that Techno can actually complete the cause one step at a time, one day at a time.
True.
Yes, indeed. Now, let's come to talk about Mubat. Now, Mubat is alleging that he was beating in Naira Marley's Malian record house. He's a street hip hop guy, and he actually posted clips of some form of alleged assault that he'd suffered in the or at the hands of the Malian crew after he'd requested to change his manager. Now he even shared clips of his body looking bloodied, and he says that they were a result of the assault that he had suffered.
I think I guess what happens in this case is there's too much money in Nigerian music at the moment, you know. And I think that I always say this person that's privately that I don't think anything that's in too much quantity is never ever neutral. What I just mean by that is if there is too much money, too much beauty, too much something, there's always going to be interest from every side. So I think there might be a case where Mubad's, I think he perceives his manager as not quite being maybe not for his best interest at the moment, and so he had tried to do this. And then on the other side, if the allegation is true, of course, the Malians, some Malians people probably feel like, you know what, we need this guy to be there so that we can be getting what we are getting. And so yeah, that's just what creates stuff like this, because I saw the videos like, okay, that's interesting. And I really like Mubat, by the way. I think he's a super talented artist, but I also have always felt that I don't think his management has been good over the past few years, because I think for somebody of his talent, he probably should be in a better place. So I don't know if he too felt this way and said, you know what, this is how I'm going to go about it, and then the people he's speaking to had a different feeling about the topic. But I don't know, James, do you have any thoughts about this?
Exactly what you said. Sometimes you might want, or you might have an idea of what you really want for yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, you are the artist, but there's also the aspect or the part where you're signed to a label where they seem to know what's in quote best for you. So I think at the end of the day, it boils down to approach. I don't know how either of the party or would have approached.
Yeah, you're right. Now, Mali said he was biting them or something. Something he said as well.
Wow.
So, but
is this Mubat biting someone, or is it Naira Marley's dogs now? Which one are we talking about?
I think Naira claimed that Mubat was biting people. I don't know. It's just, I think the kind of way you would expect a conflict from people in the Naira Marley camp, right, is kind of how this conflict is actually playing out, frankly, the kind of haphazard way you think it will work, that's exactly how it's turning out to be.
Wow, interesting. We're going on a quick break, and when we return the conversation, we'll continue right here on The Grapevine.
Well, yeah, I just think end of the day, these guys, when there's too much money in the scene.
So wait, what has money got to do with that?
My point is, if there is a lot of things to gets. If Mubat, for instance, um, if his songs, if everything is bringing in something as huge as I don't know, 50 million and above or something, manager will feel like part of this, if especially if he's there and it's this guy's Normali's agent, Bongo, you feel like more of that cut should go to Naira. Maybe Mobile will go and play one show someone. He's trying to dodge and hide some money.
No, but look, they can't do that.
Sorry,
Money
guys.
doesn't come from
Can we
them.
talk about Puff Daddy and Mace? Coming off the back of this argument, Harry songs falling out with record label guy, and then
yes.
Somebody was on one of these things.
Yes,
I didn't see
Breakfast
I didn't
Club.
see it the way I just read the headline.
Okay.
Yeah, we can, of
Okay.
course. But I also want to talk about the Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. I don't know if
We will. Because I was just looking, and I think we're kind of running out of stories, so I just figured we could include that one. But we'll just touch on it briefly.
Yeah, sorry, you say you don't think they can do
No,
that?
like he doesn't have access. He's not getting when it comes to this, under the management or label. The artist doesn't really. Nobody pays money to the artist. The money goes to the management.
That's how you should be. No, but not the talk this thing. That's how you should be ordinarily.
Yeah.
But last, somebody knows me personally. The guy says, okay, like I'm on Smooth FM.
Yeah.
But somebody in my own side knows me just personal whatever. Say, how far now? So you want me to come do MC for one stuff. It doesn't go to anybody else. But somehow, but it's not different. They're supposed to come and give that cut to the management. That's how it works.
No, that's something that you never see. Let me tell you.
All right, we have 5
Take the money
seconds.
yourself.
It's not. You can't.
I tell you.
It's illegal, but it happen. That's what I'm saying.
It's not just music, it's smooth music.
You're listening to The Grapevine on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It's 8:33 a.m. and Zibby here with James Silas and Oris. I will remember that.
Yeah, you would need to remember it, frankly.
It's Oris and James Silas.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's my better.
All right. So just before we went on the break, we're talking about the situation with Mubat and Naira Marley. And this conflict between record execs and their talent, something that has been sort of ongoing for so long.
Since the beginning of time.
Right. I mean, we also just spoke about Harry's songs and Sobericon, yes. And on the international scene, Puff Daddy and Mace, or Diddy, Brother Love, whatever he's calling himself these days. I mean, this has been going on. And Diddy was on a show, The Breakfast Club, and he literally says he doesn't owe Mace any money. That in fact, Mace owes him $3 million. Yeah.
Where to begin? The truth is, in that whole arrangement, I am entirely pro Mace because I think Diddy has been a terrible, terrible, terrible guy.
How?
So the people, well, James, who by the way is pro labels, that's why you'll be asking how exactly. I am pro the artist, please. So anyway, so to my mind, I think this is just what happens when people sign contracts when they are really, really, really young. We forget now that at the time some of these works were happening, these people were in their early 20s or even teenagers.
In Bates' case, he was in his late 20s.
All of these guys you get. So the person who is the businessman, in this case, what's his name?
Brother Love.
Brother Love. Anyway, him, exactly. The loveless Brother Love, anyway. Exactly. I think he kind of had presented a contract that ensured that he was going to be the major what's that thing portable
beneficiary?
Reaper.
Oh.
To use the portable word, Reaper, for a while. And it's not just them. There's even the one that shocked me the most was Pharrell and
Police, yes.
Just like how, because Pharrell has this image, as this whatever guy. The first time I heard about this, like a few years ago, I was like, that is incredibly shocking.
Right.
So I think it happens. You sign a contract when you're really young before you understand how the business works, and then you are older. You're like, something has really, really gone wrong here. Like, can I correct it? But unless the person who, of course, had made you sign that thinks you know what you should
do. The Reaper, I mean.
Unless the Reaper in quote, feels like, I want to grant you freedom. Believe me, it's really hard. It's really nothing you can do about it. So
that's sort of some form of musical slavery.
That's exactly, that's entirely what it is.
Wow.
I mean, we've heard about even back here, there was that issue with We Don't See This Out Loud, the Banky and Whiskey one, where it said how many albums?
7.
7 albums. Can you imagine what that is? Just Can you imagine
To
what
the
that is?
field, Whiskey. To the field.
So no, I get it sometimes, because they say, what, these guys are brought in money, but I just feel, can we be fair a little bit and not try and do this? I think it's just incredibly terrible one. My solution has always been this: once the artist starts to see something good and you've kind of profited substantially, I think it's only fair that the terms of the contract should be renegotiated. But most people don't get that opportunity. There was the one with Ashake and Olamide, where he said that, I mean, of course, there's no problems with that, at least at the moment. But he said at the point in which Olamide touted the idea of signing him to IBNL, he said he could do anything he wanted. Just the idea of Olamide signing him was huge, and I'm like, this is kind of the thing that put
Like
people in
signing a
trouble
blank
eventually.
check.
Exactly, it's like, what, anything, he could do anything. Olamide was like, go and get a lawyer, let us, He was like, no, it's fine. So I'm like, so maybe nothing happens there, and then everything's
I mean,
fine.
so far for what I mean, the Olamide just mentioned now, we've not had any. Or
No,
heard
yeah, he
any
has not had.
situation.
Yes, he hasn't had
And then
any issues.
from the last time I checked, Olamide usually gives them like a year contract.
Like a year, exactly.
After 1 year,
You can, yes, you can either stay or you can do whatever you want.
So, but still looking at labels and artists, I think this is beyond what would have happened in the past. And I want to also believe, or let's agree that a lot of artists that come into the game come in really hungry and don't care what the contract says.
Exactly, and all of that. At that moment. Yeah.
So this is only an opportunity for the upcomers or whoever to start learning and start paying attention to these things. Sometimes they can't even afford their own lawyers to come and read your contract. And then we also have a situation where a certain kind of contract, let me use the ones from Nigeria. People here go to Google and Google search for templates of contracts, and then want to use it here, and some of them have actually used it here, and artists have signed and they are still tied to that particular contract till tomorrow. I've heard one. I mean, I haven't seen. I didn't see agreements. I think it was Skills and one of those labels where there was what was that thing called? There's a word that's used for it, a phrase that's used for where when you want to close or leave the contract, there's something that you need to do, an exit clause.
Buyout. Okay.
Yes, an exit clause, where he now maybe probably didn't see, or maybe had like maybe 50 billion or one ridiculous amount or something, goodness. And it was a problem for a bit until they resolved.
Yeah, I think I remember that issue. It was a very big problem actually.
It was
a very big one.
So, but just like I said, moving on, for people listening, and if you have a friend who has a friend, just tell them that, okay, before, even no matter how hungry you are, just look for, even if it's a baby lawyer, even if it's, say, please, just help me read, just help me read this thing, before we get to.
All right, Tyre says, Brother Love versus Pastor Mace. Puff Daddy called him a fake pastor, by the way. Pharrell versus Khalees is all motivated by greed. In music business, carry your lawyer to tame their greed. Okay, let's move on to this story. And this one has to do with Angelina Jolie and the lawsuit claims. Now, she says that Brad Pitt physically abused her and their children during an altercation that they had in 2016.
I mean, there are several issues with this, or two major things that personally, years ago, a friend of mine told me, she schooled in the US. She said she saw a video where, actually, I think she saw this video actually, where this thing happened. And she was always of the opinion that Brad Pitt's kids were brats. In fact, there's one of them, she was saying she was really she just didn't like the way the kid was acting on the plane or on the plane. I don't know. I think it must have been this very well, but this is almost 2 or 3 years ago she told me this thing, And so anything crystallized this, I'm like, actually, because I never saw that video. So I'm just like, okay, that's an interesting thing to have happened. Then I think broadly what's happening to them is just a case of two people who have different cultural differences.
Right.
I think in my head, Brad Pitt is a Nigerian father. And what's her name? Angelina is an Oyibo mother. They're like, what? Don't touch my kids. That's kind of how the Oyibo mother feels. The Nigerian man is like, no, these people must be slapped. You get? Because I think, this, according to the reports in the New York Times, Brad was like, she's too deferential to the kids. And that kind of cost something, and then the kids wanted to protect her. And then he now launched at one of the kids. And then she tried to pull. So just like this whole huge family brawl. Kind of happened, this back in 2016, and a few days after she filed for divorce. So I think it's just that basic thing. But I also think there's something about affairs or relationships or affairs or marriages that I think should protect somebody, but it feels like that's no longer the case. I think if what I mean by that is, if you and I are friends, there are certain liberties I can take that if a stranger took with you, you would react differently. What is protecting me in this case is our friendship. I think the same thing happens too in marriages. Same thing happens too in affairs.
Right.
You know, there's just certain, of course, not criminal, you know, but there's this line, this fine line people play with themselves when they are in certain kind of arrangements. So, but it looks like once that arrangement is broken, people start bringing all of that into play. Because apparently what had happened here was Angelina gave an interview where she said she didn't want to talk about this. And then Brad sued her for violating terms of their winery that they owned together, apparently, you know. And it was at that point.
All right, let's bring it all out.
So I was like, you know, so I guess for her, you were being protected by the fact that you and I were
business partners.
Exactly, and we are a relationship. I mean, we had kids and everything. But now that it seems like it is war, let me bring out all of the things you did that were kind of wrong. Because apparently he had insisted that she signed a non-disclosure to protect himself clearly from this kind of accusations.
Right.
And then she said no, she wasn't going to sign it. Of course, he has to have been scared about that, you know, that if this thing came out to public, and bam, he did.
And should I say, fortunately, or I don't know,
For her.
in America will, I mean, their system, their law, you know, their law or their system actually will favor or favors more of the women. Of course, not in the case of what's his name, the
Amber Heard and
yes, not in that case. I mean that one. So, but if
this is going to be messy. This is going to be messy.
I don't know how far. Yes, we don't know how far they're going to take this one.
It's going to be messy.
This is just like the first, in fact, the preamble.
Yeah, exactly. This is just filing. Nobody else.
Let's see how it goes.
When it comes to relationships and marriages, perhaps people have to. It's not just about maybe that crazy feeling of love, or I think people need to go deeper and say, how are we raised? How will our lives align? I mean, Brad Pitt is like a small town guy.
Yeah, but it's such a hard discussion to have when you are in the first. Oh, by the way, look, this is good gist for everybody. By the way, you know, back in the day when this Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie thing, everybody remembers that it started from a movie set, right?
Yes,
and she was still with Jennifer Aniston at the time. So actually, why they were having this affair that's between Brad and Angelina, nobody knew, or there were rumors, but nobody confirmed it. Now there's a book that was released this year, a few months ago, maybe a few weeks ago actually, by the former owner of Rolling Stones. So he said that actually the person who revealed to the press that they should stay at a particular place and they would see Angelina and Brad Pitt walk down that place regularly, practically every evening, was Angelina.
Oh, really?
Wow, I'm gobsmacked.
It's an incredible, honestly. When I read it, I'm like, wow. So apparently, it was a case of she wanted this man.
News out.
Exactly, and she knew that if it wasn't, of course, maybe if it didn't come out, he would keep keeping her as a side chick, so to speak. Wow. So she concocted a way to make sure the press knew that they were together, which of course would piss off Aniston, and then things would happen.
Wow.
And the person who did this, who sent that information to the press, was Angelina.
Shocking. We've got about a minute left. Can we talk really quickly? Tiamari and Corey Hadrick splitting up. I mean, those people have been together forever, almost 20 years, married for 14, and
nobody's safe. Nobody's safe.
I mean, it's what it is.
That's the lesson.
Sometimes
look at how about Bill Gates and Melinda.
Exactly.
I mean, I kind of grew up even knowing those guys and scared. See. Wow. So I don't know. Nobody's safe.
There's always that conversation on the side where people are saying that, is it possible that you be with one person for XYZ amount?
Oh yeah, I've heard people say that you should be renewing this stuff every 5 years.
Or maybe every 5 years or every 10 years, you know.
Well, I am unmarried, so I do not care.
Don't worry, you still get there.
Good luck. And that's it for Grapevine. Thank you so much, Oris, and thank you so much, James Silas.
So James Silas is James Silas on
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Exactly, and everywhere. This is Catch Oris on Twitter and Catch Orisgram on Instagram.
Yeah.
All right, and that's it for the Grapevine. Do stay with us. There's a lot more to come on the Smooth Drive. Did I just say Smooth Drive? Ah!
Oh, it's
Smooth
Lagos Talk, right?
No, Smooth Breakfast. Well, I do the drive, so Smooth Drive. Smooth Breakfast. Can you stop, please? Have you stopped?
No.
Oh my days now, that part.
No, that part.